I'm ranking each multi-class build for each class in Baldurs Gate 3, one job at a time. Welcome back to the multi-class room. I'm ranking each multi-class build for each class in Baldurs Gate 3, one job at a time. I'll show you the synergy each class has one by one, building a build out as we go, and then grading its compatibility in honor mode. Barbarians and Bards go surprisingly well together. Bards' main support abilities use their bonus action, while Barbarian utilizes their main action to attack. A Thrash build can set up Glyphs of Wardings pre-battle and then slide into rage as soon as battle starts. While they attack with their great Weapon Master feat, they offer support with cool sounds of, dad rock probably. Wild Heart is a great way to keep your Bard up on the front lines with Bear, along with a good self-heal. But I feel the other two really support Bard to its fullest. A lore Bard with Wild Magic absolutely rocks. The ability to restore your spell slots is fantastic and totally wasted on a Barbarian without multiclassing. But a Thrash build sings with Swords Bard with the Great Weapon Master feat on a Frenzy Barbarian. Angrily mosh your way through Faerun, flourishing your Halberd of Vengeance with Finesse with your main action, and then Rage Smash them again with your bonus. Slap the Diadem of Synergy on them, and the Thrash build gets 4 Headbangers out of 5. Clerics and Bards have a lot of differences, but they could still work. The Gospel can achieve large damage spikes by using magic secrets from the Lore Bard to collect spells like Lightning Bolt, and use their Channel Divinity to maximize that lightning damage. Gliding around the battlefield, calling down storms from the heavens while healing and inspiring with their bonus action. With the Wellspring Ring from Volo, these healing words or mass healing words add bless to your campaigns. Wielding the Rain Dancer's staff, they literally can make it rain, and then literally double their lightning damage. Splitting your modifiers between Dex, Charisma, Constitution, and Wisdom is very hard, making it necessary to use a stat stick equipment to fill out the empty holes. So to do that correctly, I'm gonna have to give the Gospel 2 Whoopi Goldbergs from Sister Act out of 5. Similar to Clerics, Bards and Druids take a bit of extra love, but of course it still can be really cool. A Bluegrass build takes advantage of the Spore Druid Circle, as all the Druid spells from land will be focused on Wisdom and won't be as effective as we want them to. A Bard doesn't get any skills that will work with Wild Shape, unfortunately, but Spore offers something really cool that Bards or any other class really has, and that is a reactionary attack. With enough levels, Bluegrass Bards are actually able to raise their own army of groupies and handle solo fights. You can arm them with inspirations, or use the Falara Louvre. That'll give your horde of groupies additional thunder damage, and you can dual wield that with the Humonic Dueler. But while getting free necrotic cheap shots out with your Circle of Spores reaction, we're still gonna give the Bluegrass build 2.5 Wooks out of 5. Bards are so fun to play with a fighter dip. It's so hard not to play Swords Bard without at least a couple fighter levels, at least for me. The fighting style greatly assists the Valor College, and it's basically a 3+1 AC for swords. When a Musketeer uses Action Surge, it feels so damn good to be on melee, but I find it even more valuable stacked with the magic. Casting Tasha's Hideous Laughter or Hold Person, immediately being able to Action Surge, go in and wreck them in the same turn is invaluable. Champion has its place, but I would skip it for a Bard and go straight to Battlemaster. The additional maneuvers pair well with a melee Bard, knocking weapons out of their hands and inspiring someone right after to go finish the job. The Musketeer gets 4.5 Puss in Boots out of 5. Monk doesn't really go that well with Bard, sadly. There are a few things the Flutes of Flurry can take advantage of, though. If you go deep into Monk enough, the shadow jumping ability can line up a flourish attack very nicely, as well as using Darkness so your Bard can cosplay as a rogue. I would pass on using the 4 elements Monk, as the spells you'd want to use unfortunately use your Wisdom modifier. I think the best option is to be fully committed in going into Swords Bard with an open hand Monk. Use the Gloves of Dexterity to put points into your Wisdom and the Club of Giant Strength, and grab the Tavern Brawler ability and then go to town. Both your main action and your bonus action will be attacks and will be control moves, with a plus 13 to all your unarmored attack damage rolls if you have the Kashiga boots. Set up a Glyph of Warding and then use your bonus action to punt them into the explosion. Unfortunately, we are still going to give the Flutes of Flurry 2.5 Uncle Arrows out of 5 because it's just too much damn work. God, I love Paladin dips and Bards so much. Some of my favorite builds are just 2 levels of Paladin into a Bard, with maybe a little bit of a Sorcerer dip for flavor. The Paladin's ability to Divine Smite is elevated past the Paladin's own ability by so much, being able to use 4th, 5th, and 6th level spell slots for your own personal justice. The heavy metal bard's goal is to force their own critical smite on their own terms by setting up hold person and then going in for a flourish, and then dumping as many spell slots as you have into a massive holy explosion. God, I love it so much. Just 2. You only need 2 paladin levels and you're set. I do suggest the Oath of Ancients, especially in honor mode. It greatly increases your survivability, and just because bards use the same modifier as palays do, it will be even more effective as a base paladin typically would be, because they prioritize strength over charisma, unlike a bard does. 5 smash guitars out of 5. Putting some ranger in your bard can be really sick. A Woodwind build focuses on long-range combat and takes advantage of the swords bard's long-range flourishes. Ranger gives the Woodwind the archery fighting style that isn't normally available to a bard, as well as each subclass greatly supporting each other. Sadly, ranger spells still suck. Hail of Thorns and Searing Strike, they both either take away your bonus action and your action, or remove concentration, which is something a bard uses a lot. A Gloomstalker sets you up for an early victory, and the Beastmaster gives you a tank that keeps enemies away from you from being threatened, which is pretty great for an archer. Hunter is where it's at though. The extra D8 on a sharpshooter shot is pretty nice, and Hordebreaker is fantastic for picking off small, weaker targets. The Woodwind gets 4.5 Final Fantasy XIV bards out of 5. Rogue levels in a bard is such a great match that it's so hard to mess up. Don't take Arcane Trickster and you're done. See? Easy. The expert is great at everything. Depending on what you pick, you'll basically have every skill proficiency and expertise in a ton of them. Fast Hands from Thief either makes you the perfect dual wielder or the best damn bard ever, letting you to inspire half your party in one turn. Using just Healing Word paired with Whispering Promise and the Hellrider's Pride, you can distribute out Bless and Blade Ward and Inspirations and Healing to half the party just using level 1 spell slots. Taking the Lore Bard lets you utilize magic even further, giving you access to Spiritual Guardians, or Blinding Strike. And Blinding Strike goes very, very well with a rogue, rendering them blind, giving you the offhand chance to sneak attack regardless of the situation you're in. And of course, the expert can always slip into the best DPS in the game by dual-wielding crossbows, and shooting twice with your offhand, and then using Slashing Force to shoot twice with your main hand. If you go with Lore Bard, grab the Gloves of Balanced Hands to make sure your offhand crossbow hits as good as your main, and you're absolutely set. 5 Gunslingers out of 5. Sorcerer levels in a bard fit very nicely, because they use the same spell modifier. A Raver changes Bard's support leading tricks into more of a blaster, as it gets tons of new attack-focused spells. Completely well-rounded, the Raver now heals, hinders, and fireballs as they please. Storm Sorcerer lets us borrow the Heart of Storm ability, which has the power to turn Shatter into a nightmare for groups of enemies. And we also get to wear medium armor, so we don't need to rely on mage armor or draconic skills. We just fly away when things get dicey. Best yet, you cannot cast 2 concentration spells, but you can twin them. A Raver can twin things that don't usually split while upcasting and snag 2 people in Tasha's Hideous Laughter, or Heat Metal, or my personal favorite, Enlarge. We can hold concentration on both these spells because it was cast at the same time. Totally gets 5 Jill Scotts out of 5. Adding Warlock to your bard is so rad in so many ways it's hard to count them. A Pact of the Mic succeeds in so many aspects. With the Pact of the Blade and Swords bards, not only can you hit 3 times, but you can use your charisma for all your attacks. Slipping into darkness and having Devil Sight makes you something even darker, a completely unstoppable force that does what it pleases. Using the Great Old One Patron to make all your critical hits force fear into their bones, surrendering them to the utter uselessness. Also, you can use Pact of the Chain to make a cool new friend you can buff with Inspiration so he does well in class or whatever. I like to bond to Sorrow and use my bonus actions to whip people into my darkness. Oh, and always, put on the Ring of Synergy on your Warlock. Put that Charisma modifier onto your attacks. 4.5 Sleep Paralysis Demons out of 5. Wizard can be added to your bard and does really good with a little bit of help. For a SpellBlade, I totally suggest using the Warped Headband of Intellect to even out your intelligence skill, as your new spells will be using them. What's rad about this pairing is the addition of the spellbook. Now all you need to do is find scrolls and then pay somehow to learn them, and basically the entire wizard spell list is at your disposal. You can take a school that lets you support better, like Abjuration, allowing you to shield yourself and allies with your reaction, or Divination, allowing you to, again, shield your allies with your reaction. You're able to unlock Portent Dice at just level 2, which is amazing and always going to be useful. Plus, you get access to Shield and Magic Missile, which is amazing with the good old Bard staple Falara Louvre. The SpellBlade gets 3 Final Fantasy Paladins out of 5. And that was this week's multi-class. Next class, I'm going to be taking everyone to church so we can learn how to use Cleric. If you liked the video, thank you very much. I'd appreciate a like and a subscribe. I'm new around here. I've only been posting for about 3 months. We just started a podcast called The Booty Call, where we get to talk to people who make things for the D&D and tabletop community, and it's been a total blast. That's available on this channel and anywhere podcasts are podcasted. And if you like our goofy D&D shirts, any of the ones I wear, those are available at rollforbooty.com. I'll see you guys around.